GPU shortage is finally in the rearview mirror, but now everything else is way more expensive. All you really want to do is just go home, sit back, relax, maybe have a beverage, and play some games for a little bit and not think about it. The big problem you do have to think about is the fact that you and your wallet both know there's barely enough money in there for tacos, let alone a top-tier GPU. But it's not all doom and gloom. Entry-level graphics cards are way better than they have ever been, and you don't have to get a second job just to pay for one. So if you want a decent GPU and keep both your kidneys, AMD might have a budget-friendly option for you to consider. And that would be this guy, the RX 6600 Non-X. In this video, we're talking about the key features to this GPU and some of the potential compromises you'll have to be aware of if you want to buy one. What's up guys, my name is Juan and you're watching my channel Blueprint PC. If you're a first-time viewer, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, well, you've made this mistake before and I can no longer help you. You know what you're getting into. The RX 6600 Non-X is a powerful graphics card that's honestly got a good balance of performance to price. It's a graphics card that's meant for people who want to step up their game a little bit with performance and the ability to do a little bit more when it comes to creative works without breaking the bank. The model I have for you today is the Power Color Hellhound. It's a modest tick up from the base specs. Visually, it's simple, it's clean, there's nothing that stands out in a good or bad way. One of the semi-compelling features that made me buy it is actually the fans, because they're supposed to have some pretty bright blue RGBs and it kind of has like an icy blue color to it, which I really found appealing, which yes, it's a dumb reason to buy a GPU for a fan arrangement, but I did. They all relatively perform about the same ballpark, so I felt it was okay. One odd thing to note about this GPU is there's a light switch, and not the one that's strapped to your wall for your house, but it essentially works the same way. Buried deep inside here on the PCB is a little light switch to turn the LEDs for the fans on or off. Why do they do that? No freaking idea. I personally don't see the point when most of the time software works, but I guess this is one way to put less bloatware on your PC, so maybe that's the actual point. Outside of that one odd feature, this has everything you should expect from an AMD 6000 series GPU. RDNA 2 architecture, the ability to do ray tracing, PCIe Gen 4, 8 GB of GDDR6 VRAM, and of course AMD's slew of various softwares, RSR, FSR, etc. that will work with these GPUs. One quick thing to note is after the benchmarks, I am going to talk about the compromises that you may have to make when using one of these GPUs or buying one. Now, if you're a returning viewer, you already know this, but if you're new here, the way I do my test bench is a little bit different. I have what I call the average gamer's test bench. It's designed to mimic what most gamers actually have at home, so you guys get results that actually look like what you will see if you buy one of these. Now, I do my tests at low, medium, and high default settings at a given resolution. And again, that's no tweaks, no adjustments, not ultra, nightmare, badass, or like super low, very low settings. It's just default low, medium, high, or their respective, however you want to call it, like normal, performance, balanced, whatever. And I don't use anything that will kind of fudge the results. So no rebar, no SAM, no DLSS, no FSR, anything of that nature, just straight raw performance from the GPU. Guys, I'll be honest with you. If I didn't already mention earlier in the video, I bought this used, and I'm pretty sure this guy was mined on. That's probably why the LEDs kind of suck on this one, and they're not as bright and vibrant, at least as the pictures show, unless Power Color is just kind of fudging that to make us all think, ooh, pretty, like this sucker right here. All that aside, holy hell was I impressed with this graphics card. These results were way better than I anticipated from a GPU of this tier. So much to the point to where I'm going to do a bunch of follow-up videos for other GPUs in this price point currently and the performance segment of where they were destined to be. So do me a favor, get subscribed if you want to see those. Now, all that excitement aside, there are a few things that you do need to be aware of that could bite you in the butt or maybe possibly even be a deal breaker for you depending on what your specific use case is. Like I already mentioned, I bought this used. It was on eBay, so I'm pretty sure it's mined on. Yes, they said it wasn't, but kind of don't believe it. Long story short, this thing has some severe coil whine, and I don't think that's all the Hellhounds, because every other video I watched to try to find a comparison to see if it was just my own did not have a screamer. This specific one is a screamer, but again, I think that's this specific card's due to its specific history. I haven't seen anybody else complain about them being screamers that haven't bought it used, which could just be a sign that maybe over a long period of time it might start to get noisier. Now, one thing that I know is specific to this model of card, the Hellhounds, is the fan behavior. And it's not really a problem, just kind of a weirdness. The fans, one will randomly stop spinning if it doesn't need to run, which is all fine and good because if the card's cool enough and it doesn't need the extra headroom for temperatures, it can shut one off or both off, but it just tends to just do one. Yes, they do both shut off, but more commonly I've seen it where one will shut down and the other one will keep spinning. Again, not a problem. It just irks the living crap out of my OCD and I hate looking at it. However, if you horizontal mount, this should not be an issue for you because you're not going to see it unless your tower or something's really high up. And there's an easy fix for it as well too. If that's simply just going in and adjusting the fans to where the curves will stay at a certain set minimum and they'll never shut off. So it's an easy fix, but if it's just something that will bug you like it does me, just be aware of it. The other elephant in the room is AMD's kind of sketchy past for crappy drivers. Now, mind you, up until recently, they had a good stint for the past 2 to 2.5 years or so where they've released decent drivers that have been pretty reliable without many issues, if any at all. Now, like I said, up until recently, they've been doing pretty well, but at the end of 2022, like right before the holidays, they released a driver update that was crap for a lot of people. Not everybody was affected by it. I think there's a few variables at play there, but for some people, it's been horrendous and basically been a deal breaker for them to be able to play games, period. Me personally, I have not had an issue yet, other than some weird buggy behavior in the Rainbow Six Siege menu, and those are kind of notoriously a little bit buggy anyway with some weird habits. So it's hard to say if that's this card or something else. At the same token though, again, it might just depend on your specific processor, RAM, motherboard combo, BIOS updates, etc. Not 110% sure, it's very hit or miss, but so just expect that that could be a factor when buying this GPU, but hopefully they'll get that fixed and it won't be a problem and they can let Intel be the ones with bad drivers right now. All things considered, even with those compromises and the possible weirdness and the driver issues, I still think it's something to really consider. Yes, it may not be perfect, but for the price point, it's really hard to find something competitive considering the closest competitor from NVIDIA is the RTX 3060. I do have a video for that here that I'm going to post, but I'm also going to do a updated comparison video of that GPU versus this one and a whole slew of others. So do me a favor, please hit that like, subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.